Welcome back to lecture 21B, evaluation of definite integration. Today we will study the properties of definite integration, and based on the property we will see some examples. In the previous lecture we have already studied the geometrical definition of definite integration, and also we have revised the integration formulas, and we have also seen some in cases of indefinite integration. So let's start. Properties of definite integration. For the definition, you can see my previous lecture 21A. First property I am going to discuss, that is changing dummy variable. Changing dummy variable means if you have a to be fx dx, then this can be written as a to be ft dt. A to be ft dt. This is called change of dummy variable. We can change the variable inside, limit will be same here. Second is interchanging limits. Interchanging limits. If we have a to be fx dx, and if we are going to change the limit b to a fx dx, then sign will be opposite. It will be minus b to a fx dx. And the third is splitting of limit. Splitting limits. Suppose we have a to be fx dx, then we can break it as a to c fx dx plus c to b fx dx. Our initial point and final point here same. X is belonging to here closed interval or open interval. In the open interval case, we can also find the integral, but the integrand must be defined at a and b. May be possible that the function fx is not defined on the boundaries, but if integral is defined at the boundaries, we can find the integration. So we are taking here x in the closed interval, and it is not necessary that fx is defined at the boundaries. I have already discussed this point in the previous lecture. C is any point inside a to b or outside. Need not be inside, it can be any outside point also. This property is very important when function is piecewise continuous or non-differentiable at any point C. This is not necessary that we can break at only one point. We can break it at any infinite series of points also. Means we can write like this also: a to c1 fx dx plus c1 to c2 fx dx, means we are breaking here at 2 points, and then c2 to b fx dx. You can break at 3, 4, 5, many points. It depends on you at how many points you want to break the function fx. But in the case when function is piecewise continuous, we can see the point of discontinuities and denoted that discontinuities by c1, c2, and cn. Then you can break accordingly at the point of discontinuities or the point of non-differentiability of fx. Let's see one example based on these properties. Suppose we have minus 1 to 1 mod x dx. If we draw the graph of mod x in the interval minus 1 to 1 at x equal to 0, this function is not differentiable. And second thing is, mod x is changing its value in this interval. It is greater than when it is x, when x is greater than 0. It is minus x when x is less than equal to 0. It means 0 is belonging to the interval also, minus 1 to 1. And at 0, the function is not differentiable, and also changing its sign So we can break this function using the splitting property at x equal to 0. It will be minus 1 to 0 mod x dx plus 0 to 1 mod x dx. Now use the definition of mod x. Minus 1 to 0 means x is less than 0. If we have a to b of x dx, then always remember that x is between a to b here, a to b here, a to b here, and fx is and the integration of fx is defined at a and b. Then it is less than 0. It is less than 0. It means the function will pick the value minus x. Minus 1 to 0 minus x dx plus 0 to 1. It means ax is greater than 0. Here we can put equality sign, not necessary. Then it will be x dx. So it will be minus sign we can take outside, x square by 2 minus 1 to 0 plus x square by 2 0 to 1. If we apply limit here, it will be 0 minus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. So it will be 1. If you compute it, you will get the integration is. We can take a second example also based on the splitting property. For a mod case, we are considering a second example. 0 to 3 mod x minus 1 plus mod x minus 2 dx. Now, mod x minus 1, if we suppose fx as mod x minus 1 plus mod x minus 2. See my continuity differentiability lecture 16. I have discussed the differentiability of modulus function, and it is not defined, not differentiable, non-differentiable at x equal to 1 and 2. You can see my lecture 16 for more detail. And the second thing is, it is breaking at x equal to 1 and 2. It is changing the sign. So if we see the breaking of this function, mod x minus 1, mod x minus 1 plus mod x minus 2, if we see together, when x is less than 1, because it's a first critical point is 1, when x is less than 1, then this function is minus x minus 1. Because x is less than 1, it means this value is negative. So for making positive, we have to multiply with minus sign, because modulus always gives output positive value. So when x is less than 1, this is negative. So for making positive, we will multiply with minus sign. Similarly here, it is also negative. So we will multiply with minus sign. So x minus 2. So now if you put x less than 1, your output will be positive here. X less than 1, then your output will be positive here. When x is greater than 1 but less than 2, and it is continuous function, modulus function is continuous. So you can put inequality anywhere. You put x equal to, x is greater than 1, then this function is positive. X is greater than 1, this function is positive, then no need to give the negative sign. And but this is negative when x is greater than 1 but less than 2. So negative, so we have to give minus sign again for making positive. Now, second, when x is greater than 2, then this is also positive. And x greater than 2, this is also positive. So both will be the positive sign here. See, we are giving minus sign here due to only making it positive, making it positive. Now, break the function. It is breaking at x equal to 1 and x equal to 2. Breaking at x equal to 1 and x equal to 2. So it is when x is less than, it will be it will be 2 minus plus 3 minus 2x. 3 minus 2x dx plus, when it is between 1 to 2, it is x is cancelled out, minus minus plus 2 minus 1, it will be 1 dx. and when x is 2 to 3, because the upper limit is 3 only here, and here lower limit is 0 in the given in the question, it is 2x minus 3 dx. Now you can integrate it and put upper limit minus lower limit. 2 minus 1, it will keep it, and 2 plus 3 minus 2. So this is the breaking of modulus function in the using the property of splitting of integration. Let's see next properties. Property 4. Sum of the limit. If you have a to b fx dx, then it can be written as a to b f of a plus b minus x dx. I'm not going in the proof. You can see your class 10+2 book. And if a equal to 0, then this property is reduced as 0 to b fx dx is equal to 0 to b f of b minus x dx. It is very famous when a is equal to 0, but this is common used property. When a to b fx dx, it can be written as a to b f of a plus b minus x dx. Let's see one example based on this property. This is very useful property in the definite integration. The integration is minus pi to pi x sine x over e to the power x plus 1 dx. Apply this property. What is a here? A is minus pi, and what is b here? B is pi. And what is fx here? Fx is, if you compare x sine x over e to the power x plus 1. If you integrate here, you cannot integrate this function. But using this property, you can find the integration. So if you use the property, we need a plus b minus x for using this property. It will be f of minus pi plus pi, it means 0 minus x. So what will be the f of minus x? It will be minus x sine of minus x over e to the power minus x plus 1. Sine minus theta is minus sine theta, so it will be x sine x over e to the power minus x plus 1. It means integration minus pi to pi x sine x over e to the power x plus 1 dx is equal to minus pi to pi, call it as equation number 1, x sine x over e to the power minus x plus 1 dx. Now simplify it. If you write, take the LCM e to the power, if you can write e to the power minus x as 1 upon e to the power x, as 1 upon e to the power x. Now if you write it, you will get it is e to the power x, x sine x over e to the power x plus 1 dx. If you put e to the power minus x as 1 upon e to the power x. Now call it as equation number 2. So add 1 and 2 here. If you add 1 and 2, you will get 2i is equal to minus pi to pi. Your denominator is same, e to the power x plus 1, x sine x is the LCM. So it will be e to the power x plus 1 dx, and this is going to be cancelled out. So 2i is minus pi to pi x sine x dx. Minus pi to pi x sine x dx. Now we have one more property. We have to use one more property. I will study it later. Now the integration is reduced as 2i equal to minus pi to pi x sine x dx. So we will see this problem after next property, which is based for this type of problems especially. Let's start. The property is even and odd function. Property 5. I told you what is even and odd function. You can see my lecture 14. I have discussed the function when fx is equal to f of minus x is called even function. when function f of minus x is equal to minus of fx is called odd function. I have discussed this property. So the integration minus a to a fx dx means you can see the limit is here same is equal to the twice 0 to a fx dx when fx is an even function and it is 0 when fx is your odd function. So if a function is even, then you can take 2 times 0 to a fx dx. If function is odd, the integration will be 0. Now check for this function. Call it a gx. So gx is x sine x and g of minus x is minus x sine minus x. It means this is minus sine minus theta is again minus sine theta, so it will be equal to gx. It is an even function, so we can write 2 times 0 to pi x sine x dx. Now your 2 will be cancelled out. So the integration is 0 to pi x sine x dx. If you are willing to use one more property, this problem will be more easier. You can solve it by integration by part, first into second method I have discussed in the previous lecture. But if you use one more property, which is a special case for property 4, I told you 0 to b fx dx equal to 0 to b f of b minus x dx. Here lower limit is 0, so we can apply this property again. So it will be 0 to pi, call it as equation number 1, pi minus x sine pi minus x, because at b we have pi here. So it will be 0 to pi minus x sine 180 minus theta is sine theta sine s dx, equation number 2. Now add 1 and 2. I'm writing here. So it will be 2i is equal to 0 to pi. If you add x sine x in plus pi minus x sine x, minus x sine x plus sine x will be cancelled out. It will be pi sine x only. Pi sine x only. So 2i will be pi, you can take outside. Integration of sine x is minus cos x, limit is 0 to pi. And if you simplify it, you will get this value is 2. So 2 pi is equal to 2i, it means integration is equal to the pi. So this is a very good problem to understand 2-3 problems simultaneously. Let's see some more examples based on the property 5. Suppose we have a example integration minus pi to pi log base e a minus sine theta over a plus sine theta d theta. So you can see the integration in the form of minus a to a of x dx. When the integration in the form of minus a to a of x dx, always check even and odd function property. So you can compare it with as a of theta. Take it as a of theta. Here variable is theta. So a of theta is log a minus sine theta over a plus sine theta. Now you can write like this: log a minus sine theta minus log a plus sine theta. So check f of minus theta. It will be log a minus sine of minus theta minus log a plus sine of minus theta. We know that sine minus theta is minus sine theta, so it will be a plus sine theta minus log a minus sine theta, which is nothing else minus of f theta. It means the function is odd. If the function is odd, its integration is going to be 0. Its integration is going to be 0. So it is very useful property. When function is even, you can write it 2 times 0 to upper limit. When function is odd, the integration will be 0. Let's see next property. Property 6. 0 to 2a fx dx is equal to 2 times 0 to a fx dx when f of 2a minus x is equal to fx, and it is 0 when f of 2a minus x is equal to minus fx. This is again a very important property. We can break the value of limit 0 to 2a can be break as 2 times 0 to a when function is equal to 2a minus x is equal to fx. When it is equal to minus fx, the value of the integration is 0. This property is very useful when the value at upper limit and lower limit of the function is same. 99% cases this property is used when the value of the function at upper limit and lower limit is same, then this will help us. So let's see one example based on this. 0 to 2 pi sine to the power 100x into cos to the power 99x dx. So at 2 pi this is going to be 0, at 0 it is going to be 0. 2 pi it is going to be 1, 0 it is going to be 1. So you can see the value at upper limit and lower limit is same. So we can use this property. This is a shortcut but not work every time, but work 99% time. So let's break it as 0 to 2 into pi. 2 into pi means I want to split, I want the value of a. The value of a is pi here. Sine 100x cos 99x. So let's compare. Fx is given you sine power 100x cos to the power 99x. Let's check f of 2 pi minus x because upper limit is 2 pi. Sine 100 2 pi minus x into cos to the power 99 2 pi minus x. We can write like this: 2 pi minus x to whole power 100, and here cos 2 pi minus x to whole power 99. We know that sine 360 minus theta is minus sine theta, but the power is even, so sine will be again positive, so it will be 100x only. If you check here, cos 360 minus theta will give you cos theta, so it is cos to the power 99x. It means this is equal to the f of x. So we can break this limit 2 times, we can take outside. So the integration will become now 2 times 0 to pi sine to the power 100x into cos to the power 99x dx. Let's proceed further. Now we have integration as 2 times 0 to pi sine to the power 100x cos to the power 99x. Now at pi it is going to be 0, at 0 it is going to be 0. So the value is going to be 0 when upper and lower limit at both cases. So again we can break this limit. So call it as 0 into 2 into pi by 2. It is in the form of 2a. Now your a is pi by 2. Sine 100x cos 99x dx. So call it as fx again. So fx is sine to the power 100x into cos to the power 99x. Now f of 2a minus x. 2a is your 2 into pi by 2 minus x, or f of pi minus x, because your now upper limit is pi only. This can be written as in the form of 2a 2 into pi by 2. So it is sine pi minus x to the power 100 cos pi minus x to the power 99. Sine 180 minus theta is sine theta, so no problem, sine 100x. Cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta, and the power is also odd, it means it will be minus cos to the power 99x. It is equal to the minus of fx. When your f of 2a minus x is equal to minus fx, it means your integration is going to be 0. Your integration is going to be 0. Let's see one more example based on this property, which is very useful result also. We can use the result in many problems. The result is integration 0 to pi by 2 log sin x dx is equal to 0 to pi by 2 log cos x dx is equal to minus pi by 2 log 2 or pi by 2 log 1 by 2. Minus pi by 2 log 2 or pi by 2 log 1 by 2. This is a very famous result. Let's see proof of this result. The integration is 0 to pi by 2 log sin x dx. It is the mixing of two properties. We know the property 0 to pi by 2 log 0 to pi by 0 to a 0 to b f x dx is equal to 0 to b f of b minus x dx. You can see at 0 this function is not defined. At the boundary the function is not defined. But we can still find the integration because it's the integration will be defined at 0. We can find by the property of the integration. So and pi by 2 its value is 1 and 0 is the value is 0. So this property is 0 to 2a fx dx property is not useful here. This property is useful here. So if we apply this property 0 to pi by 2, what is b here? B is pi by 2. Which property is useful? It will come by practice only. If you solve a many problem, you will realize that which property is useful here. And log sin 90 minus theta is cos theta. So you can see by this property you are getting second result also. So this is the equation number 1. This is the equation number 2. If you add both, you will get 0 to 2 pi by 2 log sin x plus cos x. Sin x plus cos x. So log sin x plus cos x will give you 0 to pi by 2 log sin x into cos x. So if we multiply by 2 and divide by 2, it will look like 2i is equal to 0 to pi by 2 log sin 2x dx minus 0 to pi by 2 log m over n is log m minus log n log 2 dx. So 2i is equal to 0 to pi by 2 log sin 2x dx minus log 2 you can take outside, dx in integration is x 0 to pi by 2. So it is equal to 2i is equal to 0 to pi by 2 log sin 2x dx minus pi by 2 log 2. Now we have to tackle the first term only. How to tackle the first term here? 2i equal to 0 to pi by 2 log sin 2x dx minus pi by 2 log 2. We know that the integration is equal to 0 to pi by 2 log sin x. Here the coefficient of x is 1, but here the coefficient of x is 2. So replace 2x as t. So 2 dx will be dt. When you substitute or using integration by substitution, your limit is going to be changed. So always check the change in limit. Many times it's same, but change many times. It depends on the substitution. So when x is 0, t will be 0. When x is pi by 2, t will be pi here. So it will be log sin t dt by 2. Dx is, will be the dt by 2 here. Minus pi by 2 log 2. So 1 by 2 is going to be outside, 0 to pi log sin t dt minus pi by 2 log 2. You are willing to use this property, but the limit is 0 to pi by t. Here limit is 0 to pi. But if you see at pi, it is sine 0. At 0, it is again 0, sine 0. It means you can use the property I have discussed, 0 to 2a fx dx property. Let's check that property here. Ft is your log sine t. If you use f of 2a minus t, what is 2a here? 2a is pi here. That can be written as 2 into pi by 2. So pi minus 2 is log sine pi minus t. Log sine 180 minus theta is sine theta. It means it is equal to ft. It means we can write this limit as 2 times 0 to half kar de, limit, make the half. So half of the pi can be written as 2 into pi by 2, then 2 will be outside, it will be 0 to pi by 2. Log sine t dt minus pi by 2 log 2. 2 is cancelled out. Now, if you see sine t dt, here you have sin x dx. So use the first property. We can change the dummy variable. X can be written as t also. Limit must be same. Limit is same. So it is again I. This is the value of I using the first property. Minus pi by 2 log 2. So 2I take in the left side. It will be I equal to minus pi by 2 log 2. If you give minus sign inside, so log minus log m over n is equal to log n over m 1 by 2. So this is the value of the integration. It's a very useful result. Let's see some more properties. Property 7. 0 to 2a fx dx can be written as 0 to a f of a minus x dx plus a to 2a, 0 to a, 0 to a, it is limit is same, 0 to a, f of a plus x dx. 0 to a f of a minus x dx plus 0 to a f of a plus x dx. So 0 to 2a limit can be played in this form also. And the next property is very useful property. If you have a to b of x dx and you are willing to change the limit of integration in the form of 0 to 1, it will be equal to b minus a f of b minus a x plus a dx. Here it's a look not useful property, but it will useful in the numerical part. It is Romberg's integration concept here. We will use this integration in the formula of 2.3 point formula for evaluation of the integration in the numerical analysis. This will help a lot. This substitution of the integration will help a lot. Next property. Property 9. I have discussed the periodic function in the lecture 14. If you remember periodic function property, a function fx is said to be periodic if fx can be written as fx equal to fx plus capital T. Here T is a least positive real number, then T is called the period of the function. You can see my lecture 14. I have discussed this periodic function. So let fx is a periodic function with period capital T. Then we know that fx is equal to fx plus t. Here t is least positive real number. Least positive real number. Now, what is the property? 0 to n t fx dx can be written as n times 0 to t fx dx, where t is the period of the function. T is the period of the function. But remember here, n is any integer. N is any integer. It can be negative, it can be positive also. This is called periodic function property. And we have 2 more results based on this. Property 10. If your lower limit is a and upper limit is a plus nt of x dx, then it can be written as n times 0 to t of x dx. Remember here, n is integer and a is cancelled out, look like. We have two more properties on the periodic function. If we have mt to nt f x dx, where mn both are integer and t is the period of the function, then it is n minus m 0 to t f x dx. Remember here, n and m both are integer and t is the period. Property 12 is, if you have a plus nt in the lower limit, p plus nt, nt is same here, then it is equal to the fx dx is equal to the a to b fx dx, a to b fx dx. Remember here, n is an integer and t is period of the function. Let's see some important formula, important example based on the periodic function. Example 0 to 16 pi by 3 mod of sin x dx. If you see the graph of mod sin x, let's look like this. It's a period h pi. If you take fx as mod sin x, then pi plus x you will get again fx. Period is pi. Least positive real number is pi here. It is repeating also after 2 pi, 3 pi, but least we will always take. We always take least. So period is pi here. And if we divide 16 pi by 3, it can be written as 5 pi plus pi by 3 mod of sin x dx. We can write like this: 5 pi plus pi by 3. So we can use here the splitting integration property. What is the splitting integration property here? Let's see here. Let's erase it. Splitting means a to b fx dx is equal to a to c fx dx plus c to b fx dx. So we will use that property here. So break it as 0 to 5 pi, 0 to 5 pi mod sin x dx. Because 5 is integer number and we want integer in the periodic function property, plus 5 pi to 5 pi plus pi by 3 mod sin x dx. And if you see, 5 plus pi by 3 is nothing else, 16 pi by 3. Now use the property 9. I told you 0 to nt of x dx is equal to n times 0 to t of x dx, where n is integer and t is period. Here period is pi, n is integer, so it will be 5 times 0 to pi mod sin x dx. Now use the 10th property. I have told you a to a plus nt of x dx is equal to 0 to nt of x dx. Or you can use here this property actually. If you use, call it as nt to this can be used as the 12th property actually here, not this property, 12th property here. You can write it as 0, height pi plus 0. Now if you compare, nt is 5 pi here, so 5 pi 5 here, a is 0 here and b is pi by 3 here, so it will be 0 to pi by 3 mod sin x dx. Are you getting my point? If you compare this, a is 0 in this property and b is pi by 3, and nt is a periodic, n is a 5 and t is period, that is pi here. Now in the 0 to pi, mod sin x is always positive because in 0 to pi we are covering only two quadrants, first and second. In the both quadrants sin is positive, so it will be sin x dx. And 0 to pi by in the first quadrant and sin x is positive here, so mod sin x will be positive in these two intervals. If you integrate it, you will get 2 here, and here you will get minus cos x. That will be the pi by 0 to pi by 3. You can evaluate this integral. This is 10. This value is 10 because minus cos x is minus cos x from 0 to pi is 2. And if you calculate this value, this will give you 1 by 2. So ultimately answer will be 21 by 2. You can simplify it. One more example I have based on the periodic function. Next example is 0 to n modulus function, greatest integer function dx over 0 to n fraction function x dx. See, this is a very good question. N is any integer here. N is any integer here. We know that fraction function is equal to x minus greatest integer, or greatest integer x is x minus fraction function. And fraction function is a periodic function with period 1. I have discussed this in lecture 14. Periodic function with period 1. But these two, the x is not periodic and greatest integer is separately is not periodic. But the difference that is periodic function is periodic. So use the value of greatest integer in the numerator. It is x minus fraction function x dx over 0 to n fraction function x dx. If you separate it, sorry, you will get 0 to n x dx over 0 to n fraction function x dx minus 1. Because fraction function x dx will be cancelled with fraction function x dx integration, that will be minus 1. Now, x integration of x is x square by 2, 0 to n. And you can see that it can be written as n into 1. N is integer, 1 is the period. So it will be n into 0 to 1 fraction function x dx minus 1. N can be outside because n is integer and 1 is period n. So it is n square by 2 over n into, now break it again, 0 to 1 x minus greatest integer x, because we cannot evaluate the integral in the term of fraction function, minus 1. So it will be n square by 2 n into, in 0 to 1 x will be x square by 2, 0 to 1. And greatest integer is 0 in 0 to 1. Greatest integer is 0 when x is between 0 to 1. We cannot take at 0 and 1, because at 0 and 1 this function is not differentiable. So we'll take in the open interval only. We will take in open interval only, because at 0 and 1 this function is not differentiable. So this value is 0, minus 1. So the integration of x is x square by 2, 0 to 1, and this is 0 in 0 to 1 open interval. So it will be n square by 2 over n by 2 minus 1. So it will be n minus 1. N minus 1 will be the correct answer for this question. N can be any number here. We can see one more example. 0 to 100 fraction function x dx. So you can write it 0 to 100 into 1 fraction function x dx. 100 can be taken outside, 0 to 1, and fraction function will be written as x minus greatest integer x dx. So it will be 100 into x square by 2, 0 to 1, and this value is 0. I have already discussed. So the answer is 50 here. Answer is 50 here. Let's see some more properties. Leibniz rule. Differentiation over integration. I have discussed this already in the lecture 15, if you see lecture 15 in the limit chapter, but again I am discussing here. If you have a limit of integration as phi x to psi x ft dt, it's a first form of Leibniz, and you want to differentiate it with respect to x, it is equal to the value of function at upper limit d by dx, the differentiation of upper limit minus the value of function at lower limit into d by dx of lower limit. If the function is inside has both the variable t and x, then this is called second form of Leibniz, and I'm not discussing that because that is not in the gate level, it's in the higher mathematics level. I am discussing one problem based on the Leibniz rule. Example is, let you have f2 is equal to 6, f dash 2 is equal to 1 by 48, then evaluate limit x tending to 2, 6 to fx 4t cube dt over x minus 2. If you put x equal to 2, it will be f2, and f2 is 6. So 6 to 6, if you have lower and upper limit same, fx dx is always 0. If the upper limit and lower limit are same. And x equal to 2, it's a 0 by 0 case. So we can apply the L'Hospital rule. It means we have to differentiate numerator and denominator both. So 6 to fx 4t cube dt over d by dx of x minus 2. This is the Leibniz rule. So if you differentiate it, you will get, put the upper limit in the place of t, it will be 4 fx whole cube into the differentiation of upper limit, that will be f dash x. Put lower limit in the place of t, it will be 4t cube, it means 6 cube, and differentiation of lower limit differentiation of 6. In the denominator, differentiation will be 1. Put x equal to 2, it will be f2 whole cube into f dash 2. It will be 0 because the derivative of constant is 0. And f2 is 6 cube and f dash 2 is 1 over 48. So if you simplify it, you will get 18 is the answer for this problem. So this is the Leibniz rule I have earlier discussed in this property in limit chapter also. Let's see some more properties based on the inequalities. Inequalities properties based on inequalities. First is property 13 is, if at every point x of an interval a closed interval a comma b, the inequalities gx is less than equal to fx is less than equal to hx. This is called sandwich. The theorem in the limit chapter I have already discussed, are fulfilled, then a to b gx dx is less than equal to a to b fx dx is less than equal to a to b hx dx. Property 14 is, that's the most important property from my side. If m and capital M are the global minimum and global maximum of the function fx in closed interval a comma b, then the estimation a to b fx dx always lie between m into b minus a2. Here m into b minus a to capital M into B minus A. Or if we call it as this integration always belong to M into B minus A to capital M into B minus A. Sometimes we are not able to evaluate this integral, then we can give the estimation of the integration in the form of interval, that the value of this integration will lie in this closed interval. Let's see one example based on this property. Suppose you want the integration of 0 to 1 e to the power minus x squared dx. This integration cannot be solved. If the limit is 0 to infinity, it can be converted in the gamma function, but the limit is 1 upper limit, so we cannot convert it into the gamma function. So we cannot find the finite or one or unique value of this integration. Or we can go by the numerical analysis method that will give you some approximate or very close to the exact value, but not analytic value. That will give you the numerical value. But in this chapter, we can tell the value of this integration in some interval. How? If we see fx into e to the power minus x square, it is a strictly decreasing function. It is not touching it. It is a strictly decreasing function. In the interval 0 to 1, this is strictly decreasing. How you are claiming? So if you take the derivative, it will be e to the power minus x square into minus 2x. And when x is belonging to 0 to 1, f dash x is less than 0. You can see that this is always positive, this is always positive because x is between 0 to 1. So due to minus 2, its derivative is less than 0. It means the function is strictly decreasing. When the function is strictly decreasing, fx is strictly decreasing in closed interval a comma b, then I told you it will attain maxima at a and minima at b. Global maxima at a and global minima at b. I have discussed this result in the chapter, in the lecture 19 b, monotonicity. So what will be the capital M here? Capital M will be the global maxima, and global maxima will attain at x equal to 0. So at x equal to 0, the function will be 1, and M will be the global minima that will be attained at the second boundary f at 1. So it will be e to the power minus 1 or 1 upon e. So the integration will belong to M into b minus a to capital M into b minus a. Our integration belongs to 1 over e, and if you compare with a to b fx dx, here a is 0 and b is 1, so it will be 1 minus 0 to 1, 1 minus 0. So the integration will belongs to 1 upon e to 1. So this is the estimation of this integral. Estimation of this integral. We have one more property on the inequality, and we can say the last property from my side. If we have a to b, property 15, a to b fx dx, and if you take the magnitude, it is always less than equal to a to b mod fx dx, mod fx dx. Mod of a to b fx dx is always less than equal to a to b mod fx dx. Let's see some example based on the greatest integer function. What is the integration of 0 to 2 pi greatest integer sin x dx? We know that the greatest integer function is not continuous and not differentiable at integers. So if you see the graph of sin x in the interval 0 to 2 pi, 0 to 2 pi, you can see that in 0 to pi it is positive, but at 0 and pi and 3 pi and 2 pi, at x equal to 0, pi, 2 pi and 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi, sin x is integer value. Sin x is giving 0 or plus minus 1, and one more value pi by 2 I missed here, pi by 2. pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi. So at these values, it will be a integer value. It means at these values, the function is not differentiable. So we cannot check at these values. Now let's see in 0 to pi, when x is between 0 to pi, we cannot use closed sign at 0 and pi because the function sin x is not differentiable at 0 and pi, because at 0 and pi it is giving an integer value, and when the greatest integer giving integer value, it is not continuous. Now at integer values, greatest integer is not continuous, not differentiable. In 0 to pi, sin x is between 0 to 1. I'm not using pi by 2 here. X is not equal to pi by 2 here. Because why we are excluding pi by 2? Because at pi by 2 sin x is given 1, and at 1 it is not continuous or not differentiable. So the greatest integer sin x will be the 0. It means if we break, if you are interested, you can break at 0 to pi by 2 also, because at pi by 2 it is an integer. So best way to break at integers, if you are interested in more results, but in more general I have seen in 0 to pi, but if you are willing, you can break at the points where the given function is integer. So the given function is sin x, which is integer at pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi in the given interval, and the given interval is 0 to 2 pi. The interval is given to 0 to 2 pi. 0 and pi by 2 we cannot discuss because this function is not continuous at this point. But in the open interval 0 to pi by 2, the value of the sin x is always between 0 to 1. So the greatest integer will be the 0. Very good. In pi by 2 pi, it is again between 0 to 1. So it is again 0. But in pi to 3 pi by 2, when x is between pi to 3 pi by 2, your sin x, it is when x is between pi to 3 pi by 2, your sin x is between -1 to 0. You can see that. It is -1 here, -1 is here, -1 to 0. And if you take the greatest integer of -1 to 0, it will give you -1. So pi to 3 pi by 2, it will be -1 dx. This value will be -1. And again 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, it is again 3 pi to 2 pi. It will give you again -1 to 0, because in the fourth quadrant it is again will give you -1. Greatest integer will be the -1 dx. So I can break in 0 to 2 pi and pi to 2 pi also, but I will suggest break at all points where the given function is integer. It will be very efficient to do. Don't use my trick, because if you are perfect, then only you can try my trick. Otherwise, try this is the best way. Break at all the points where the function is giving you the integer value. So if you simplify it, you will get the answer that is equal to the -pi. I am giving you solution of it. One more problem I have. Fx equal to greatest integer 0 to 2 pi, greatest integer cos x dx. This is the greatest integer GI function. Now see the graph of greatest integer cos x in 0 to 2 pi. It is pi by 2, it is 0, it is pi. It is pi only. It is your 3 pi by 2. So at x equal to 0, pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi, it is again giving you integer. What are the integer values? 0 and plus minus 1. So similarly you break 0 to pi by 2, greatest integer cos x dx, plus pi by 2 pi, greatest integer cos x dx, plus pi to 3 pi by 2, greatest integer cos x dx, plus 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi greatest integer cos x dx. In 0 to pi by 2, we cannot discuss at pi by 2 and 0. Between 0 to pi by 2 only. When it is between 0 to pi by 2, the value of cos x is between 0 to 1. So the greatest integer will be 0. This value is between 0 to 1. So the greatest integer will be the 0. Greatest integer will be the 0. Okay. Now if you see between pi by 2 pi, this value is between -1 to 0. So the greatest integer will be the -1. If you see pi to 3 pi by 2, it is again -1 to 0. So greatest integer will be the -1. And 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, this value is again 0 to 1. So the greatest integer is 0 there. So again, if you simplify it, you will get the minus pi is the answer for this problem. So this is the property based lecture. In the next lecture, we will study area bounded by curve. That will be followed by the problem session based on definite integration and area bounded by curves. Okay, thank you.